Hello and welcome to another episode of the Daily Chat Podcast, where we talk about all things awesome and nerdy. Guys, we're a little behind on this. First off, I just want to say Happy Memorial Day. But above all, I just want to say we got a guest coming back that we haven't had in a while. Please give it up for Dave Coesntino!
Thank you. Good to be back. And I'm actually doing this podcast from my new house, so...
Congratulations on that, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being on the show, as always. So some of you might have guessed, a big movie came out this weekend, and we usually only have Dave on the show when we really want to talk about this one topic in particular. Dave, what are we talking about?
The 25th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers.
Wait, is it really the 25th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, actually it is today.
Oh, well... maybe this could be a double feature.
No, let's just keep it for solo.
Yeah, let's keep it solo. So first off, this movie kind of had some buzz going about it, both negative and positive. Mostly negative, actually, because Dave, I don't know about you, but I personally wasn't too excited about a Han Solo movie. Were you?
No, not really. I mean... Right from the beginning, I said, I don't think there's any need for a Solo movie. And because if it got made and if it was terrible, then, it's going to completely ruin the character for me. And it was tough it was tough casting another person as Han Solo anyway. It's so tough to see somebody else beside Harrison Ford be Han Solo. But
believe it or not, that didn't bother me that much, only on account of the fact that, no one really seemed to have a problem with Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequel movies.
Yeah, but to me that's different because in A New Hope, Obi-Wan was this, 60-something-year-old, and then in the prequels he was much, much, much younger. In A New Hope with Han Solo, he's already young.
He wasn't that young, though. He was definitely, in his early to mid-30 range, I want to say.
Yeah, but
definitely, definitely, to have been all right, I've seen enough shit.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't as the same age as, Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I don't know. It just didn't work for me, the, recasting. But until I saw the movie, I wasn't going to hold judgment until I saw the movie. And it just, I thought it was good. It wasn't spectacular, but when I walked out of there, I was happy. I'll say that.
You know what? I'm actually going to go as far as to say that between this movie and Rogue One, I'm actually going to say that the anthology Star Wars movies are actually doing better, or at least they're better put together than the main story, than the main Star Wars movies. I'm actually going to say.
A lot of people are saying that, actually.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where I don't understand why people had a gripe with. If anybody has a gripe with Rogue One, I don't get it because it did its job. At the end of the day, it did its job.
Right.
It told the story of how they first Death Star planes, which honestly was something I had been wondering as a Star Wars fan for years.
Yeah, I mean, we know that they got the plans, but it was how they got the plans. That's why I was excited to see that movie. And going with either Rogue One or Solo, I mean, I like Solo, but I still prefer Rogue One. I'm more of that, Rebel versus Imperial, and obviously that battle at the end of the movie, that was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Oh yeah, especially the scene with Vader in the hallway.
Poning news.
Oh my God. I mean, by the way, before we get going, spoilers ahead. Before we go any deeper into this podcast, I need to let my fans know that there will be spoilers ahead. Moving on, like we were saying, I think push comes to shove. I might be with you on that one, that Rogue One was a better movie, but I still, in all honesty, I was expecting Solo to suck just because, number one, I didn't think a Han Solo movie was necessary at all right now because we had enough of his story between the original three movies and The Force Awakens.
Yeah, and I think, too, because we're about, 5 months from The Last Jedi, And I don't know
Yeah.
if maybe fatigue is setting in.
Fatigue is setting in for Star Wars fans, dude. I'm a Marvel fan. Those movies come out like once every 2 months. Speaking of Marvel, I love how Vision played the bad guy in this movie. Uh, but at any rate, oh yeah, and the Mother of All Dragons was in this movie. She does a great job. But I'm kind of with you on that one. For me, it wasn't. I didn't really care that they were going to recast Han Solo because I just understood that from practical reasons. Unless you want to CGI the crap out of Harrison Ford.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, we would have had that whole Tarkin thing all over again.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to say right here, right now, I was beyond pleasantly surprised by this movie.
Yeah,
I thought it was actually a solid movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, my expectations, from all the things I heard with, the directors being fired, Ron Howard coming in to try and save it, Alden, who played Han Solo, apparently needed, I guess the rumor is he needed acting lessons or something like that.
The heavy-duty acting coach.
I don't know. I mean, as for what? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. It's not what the directors wanted. It's not what Ron. I don't know. But I mean, I think those are just rumors. But I mean, I went in there low expectations. I don't think these Star Wars films are going to do what the originals did. Catching that lightning in a bottle. This was a good, popcorn flick. I go in. I enjoyed it. I walked out of there, pleasantly surprised. I was happy. I walked out of there. I was happy. Whereas The Last Jedi, I walked out of there and I'm like all confused.
I mean, I wasn't confused by The Last Jedi. It's just, this is what I say about The Last Jedi. It is a movie filled with sheer brilliance, except for when it's not. In other words, I really like the main plot. Everything that happened with Kylo Ren, Rey, and Luke Skywalker. I loved all of that.
Oh, yeah.
The bright story arc, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like,
or what about when they went to Canto Bight?
I just said that.
Oh, all right. Now you were cutting in and out a little bit.
Yeah, no, but then you talk about the Canto Bight thing, and I was not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was just boring, and in all honesty, Finn should have died.
It just seemed out of place.
What, Finn's rescue?
No, the whole Canto Bight scene. I don't know. I don't know. It just
felt
seemed
more like
filler.
It felt more like a Bond scene than a Star Wars part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And where the hell was Lando? Why wasn't Lando there?
I'm still asking that myself.
Yeah. But at any rate,
hopefully he'll be in one.
In the next one, yeah, that'd be nice. Whatever the name of the next one is going to be. I really hope it's From a Nap.
Yeah, I did.
The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, From a Nap. Which is one of the greatest things I've ever seen on the internet. But you know what? Here's the thing, though. Like, you're saying how, like, all the Star Wars movies are made so different. Like, it's so true because there's just many different facets. Like, one of my biggest complaints is, like, it feels like every time a new Star Wars movie comes out, they expect it to be as good or better than The Empire Strikes Back, and that's never going to happen.
No.
We're never going to get
I think they hype it up too much,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially, too, with all these Force Friday events with the toys and the collectibles.
They have a Force Friday, like, what, every Tuesday? Yes, I said a Force Friday every Tuesday. Sue me.
Oh, I will.
Fuck! You could afford the lawyers, too. But at any rate, so what I was trying to say is, like, everybody, I just feel like, is always expecting them to, like, just recapture the magic of the first time they saw Star Wars when you were, like, 7, and I'm going, that's not going to happen. You're not 7 anymore.
Right.
And on top of, not necessarily this movie, but the one thing I definitely liked the most about The Last Jedi, and even this movie did kind of to an extent, was the original trilogy was definitely great for its time. My biggest problem with Star Wars up until The Last Jedi has always been everything was so black and white. It's either you are good or you are evil. That's it. There's no middle ground. But The Last Jedi actually raised a lot of questions of just how good were the Jedi really,
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are, like that whole part where Luke Skywalker is just giving the whole spiel about the Jedi and their arrogance, blah 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 blah. Like that stuff I liked.
Oh yeah, me too.
And in this movie, you really got the feeling that he was just trying to do what he could so he could get back to what was his girlfriend's name in this movie again? Played by Emilia Clarke.
Kira, I think. Yeah, it was
yeah.
I'm checking now.
Yeah, it was Kira. I just looked it up. Yeah. You could definitely tell that he wanted to. What's the phrase I'm looking for? He definitely wanted to do the right thing. And by the right thing, I mean, let's backtrack a second. And this is where we're going to start getting spoiler territory. The movie opens up, and it just turns out not Luke Skywalker, Han Solo is a street urchin, living on the streets of Corellia, just like doing what he had to do in order to survive. Like right then and there is when you start getting gray. It's like, yeah, he's stealing, but at the same time, he's trying to do it so he can get out of this rat race he's stuck in.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got to say too, it was finally nice to see the planet Corellia.
Yeah, it really was, and you know what? It just looked like the worst parts of Coruscant.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it opens up and I just love how it continues this Han Solo tradition of he owes some gangster money. He always owes the mob money.
Yeah, that scene in the beginning, that giant worm or whatever the hell it was just kind of odd. I could have done without that scene.
I thought it was a little odd. I just thought the character was odd. I think they were trying to pay homage to Jabba the Hutt in some weird way.
Yeah.
Like how it's a giant lug that's the mob boss, not some dude with a funny accent.
Yeah.
With a British accent. But then, you meet Paul Bentley's character with the Vision, and what was his character's name again? I'm trying to remember that one.
Dryden Voss, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you got all of that, and he, first off, I like that villain, in all honesty. He was a very interesting character. He was charming, he was charismatic, like, you almost wanted to be his friend, were it not for the fact that he'd stab you in the back the split second he had a chance.
Yeah.
So then, the movie goes on, and, you know what? You asked me before we did this, and, we find out how Solo got his name.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of lame. I'm not going to lie.
Just lazy writing lame?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just watching it, and then the Imperial officer, he's like, "Oh, Han, Solo." I'm like, really? I'm like, why couldn't that just be his name like I thought it was when I was 7?
It is kind of a silly name, and this is coming from a franchise that has incredibly silly names.
Yeah. Oh, actually, hey, speaking of funny names, one of the aliens in the area where they were doing the sabacc, I think, is one of the funniest names out there. It's Therm Scissor Punch. I kid you not.
I'm looking this up right now. Hold on 1 second here. Solo.
I think the beginning is
Scissor Punch.
Yeah, like THERM. I think that's how you spell it. Best name ever.
Well, either way. Well, you know what the most shocking thing for me was, in all honesty? It was Woody Harrelson's character's name. Beckett?
Yeah. You were saying it was the most normal name in the Star Wars universe. Tobias Beckett.
Yeah. No, it really was. Like, I could totally... Like, I mean, I know Tobias isn't that common of a name nowadays, but I could totally see myself walking down the street and running into somebody named Tobias Beckett. I really could. Really could. But I, however, could never, ever picture myself walking down the street and running into somebody named Lando Calrissian.
Right.
Which, by the way, Donald Glover nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
I think he nailed it.
There were even some scenes he sounded like freaking Billy D. Williams.
Oh, the best part was how he continued to pronounce Han Solo's name wrong.
Yeah.
Han.
It's Han, but...
Han.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, but he kept on calling him Han. And then there was also... Oh, so I love how these new... First off, this Star Wars movie broke a serious tradition, actually. and that is there was no R2D2, nor was there a C3PO.
Yeah, I noticed that first movie to not have them in there.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm kind of okay with it because how could you have shoehorned them into that movie?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
If they were going to be in there, I would have actually been pretty pissed because, like, how? How would they fit in the movie? They wouldn't.
Exactly. I mean, like, it made sense why they were in Rogue One.
Oh, yeah.
It totally made sense.
Oh, yeah.
Rogue One.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there was Rogue One, and my favorite character of Rogue One was
Vader or K2SO.
K2SO. No, Vader's a given. Vader always wins. Thanos killed the. I know you haven't seen them. You haven't seen Infinity War, but you already know how it ends, right? Infinity War.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanos killed half the fucking universe, and I still think Darth Vader's a better villain. But at any rate, like I was trying to say, what were we talking about again? Oh yeah. So my favorite character in this movie was L3-37.
Rebellion!
The nav droid. Rebellion! And I'm gonna go just because such a crazy, I don't know how to explain it, just such a crazy, hardcore, feminist, equal rights robot, and I just thought it was absolutely hysterical. Especially with the line, what's the line? Hey, I'm gonna go get a drink real quick. Do you want anything? Equal rights.
Or the fact that she thought that Lando had a crush on her or something.
I thought she was just being sarcastic as all hell.
Oh, I thought she was being serious.
It's really one of those things where whether she was being serious or whether she was just being absolutely sarcastic, I don't care. I thought that part was hysterical.
Yeah. And going back to the scene before the train heist, I don't know if you heard them talking about it, but I think Val's character, Beckett's girlfriend, she says something like, "Why don't we hire a boss?" Did you hear her say that?
Oh yeah, no, I picked up on that.
And then
I don't know about your audience, but I heard a few chuckles.
there was the boss.
When somebody brought up what?
Yeah, there was the Bosk reference, and then I don't know if you heard her say that Beckett killed Aura Singh. She was from the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, wasn't she the? She was the one with the shaved head, right?
Yeah, the shaved head, but then she had the ponytail. I think she wore like an orange shirt.
Yeah, like that cybernetic implant in her head.
Yeah. She said. I guess she said Beckett killed her, and then Beckett was like, "I didn't kill her. I pushed her. The fall killed her."
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one thing some people are complaining about, but I'm actually okay with it that these new Star Wars movies are starting to throw in just a little bit more, broad humor. I mean, I'm okay with that, to be quite honest with you. It's because, humor is no stranger to the Star Wars mythos. It's just, in the original trilogy, it was so much more, I felt it was much more scathing and sarcastic.
Yeah.
Not to say that Beckett's line wasn't scathing and sarcastic either. I'm just saying,
Oh, the scenes with Han and Chewie were great too. Chewie growls something. He's like, "Oh, she's just a friend." He growls something else, and he's like, "You're touchy." Or
oh yeah, no, it was great because in all honesty, I'm gonna give it up to him. In all honesty, that's kind of what I pictured a young Han Solo to be like.
Oh, yeah.
First learning how to be a smuggler.
And two,
I do think
the very last.
What are you saying?
Very last scene of the movie too. I forget exactly what Solo says, but he says something like, "Have I ever steered you wrong, or have I ever give you a reason not to trust me, or something like that?"
Yeah.
And then Chewie just looks at Han with this look like, "Are you shitting me?"
What the hell did we just go through?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, I really felt like that felt like a very good budding of a new bromance, so to speak.
Oh my god! And then the scene too when he rescued him out of the pit, and then they get out of there, and one runs one way, the other runs the other way, and then Han just gets yanked.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. I'm okay with them doing the whole what do you call it? The more broad humor. And you know what else I've also noticed too? I've actually been really enjoying that that the Star Wars universe is actually doing a very good job, or a better job, I should say, than they did with the pre-Disney buyout of what's the phrase I'm looking for? Keeping the like throwing in little hints to the expanded universe, kind of like what we were just talking about with Bosk and that character. What was the character's name again? The one that Beckett killed.
Aura Singh.
Yeah, Aura Singh. Yeah, yeah. You had Aura Singh like mentioned in there. And have you also noticed too that I think it's the voice actor who played. I'm almost positive that it was the same voice actor who played what's his face? The purple guy from Rebels. Why can't I think of his name right now? I watched that. I watched like every episode of that show. You know who I'm talking about, right? Carabat.
Yeah. Oh, geez, it's right. It's like right at the tip of my tongue too.
I know it's gonna hit me. It's gonna hit me. I'm looking it up right now. Zeb.
Okay.
Zeb. Yeah, it was Zeb. Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen Zeb. I wouldn't mind seeing Zeb in a movie, but I just enjoy the fact that it is that they got Steve Bloom, who also played the voice of a bunch of different stormtroopers throughout Star Wars. He's now popping up in every single movie as a voice of a stormtrooper, in every single one of them.
Oh, he played a stormtrooper in this?
He played one of the stormtroopers who threw Han in the pit.
Huh. Nice.
I'm pretty sure that was him. It sounded like him. So at any rate, we're not getting. I don't want to get into too much more about it, but long story short is, first off, that train scene was awesome. That might have been my favorite, because you know what I felt like? I felt like at its core, this movie was really just a, what do you call it? This was a Western, really.
Yeah.
This was a Western set in space.
That train also reminded me of the train level from Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah, it kind of did, actually. So it's kind of cool how they threw that in. And Dave, by the way, are you going to get those Stormtrooper action figures, the ones with the magnet boots?
Actually, I've been thinking about it because how I felt about the Solo movie, I thought there was no need. Plus, I have to draw the line in collecting somewhere. I was going to pass on any merchandise from Solo.
Yeah, I mean...
Plus, too, having figures of Han Solo and Lando that aren't Harrison Ford and Billy D. Williams, it just seems odd,
Mm-hmm. It's kind of, sort of, I guess. Like I said, you know what? I think Donald Glover killed it. He's been confirmed to have his own movie, which I'm looking forward to. And I just really, you know what? I'm looking forward to the next Star Wars movie and the main storyline, because now we're going to be done with the Skywalker story, and I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing this universe expanded. You know what I mean?
I'm sick of their family drama.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. So beyond that, what were some of the... Emilia Clarke did a really good job. We've already said that. Rio was a funny character. It was just so weird to see characters that you just get introduced and you almost start to develop an attachment for, and then they just die right away.
Yeah, except for Val, Beckett's girlfriend. I was not emotionally invested in her when she died. When she blew the bridge up, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, same thing goes for what's his face, Rio, or whoever the little dude was that had 4
Who was
arms.
Rio again? Was he the 4-armed monkey looking guy?
The dude with 4 arms.
Yeah, I was a little sad when he died. I thought he was funny.
No, I liked him. It's just whatever. It happened. He died. When he died, I was kind of like, oh well, whatever.
But yeah, I mean, I like the movie.
Oh, and by the way, I also, what I loved, what I kind of hated, but also liked at the same time, that they exposed that the Kessel Run was a lie.
Oh my God, yeah.
I was kind of pissed, but at the same time, I'm like, no, you know what? That is something Han Solo would do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 12 parts if you round down.
If you round down. So yeah, the whole main premise of this movie is actually just a heist movie where what they're trying to do is they're trying to steal hyperfuel, and get it to a bunch of gangsters so that way they don't die.
And they get paid.
And then they get paid. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Other than that, it's kind of, your standard fare of a heist/Western movie. The action scenes were actually really well done. Really, really well done.
The scene at the end of the movie where Solo shoots Beckett, I would have been so pissed if, he runs up to him and, he's holding his hand and he says something like, oh, good kid, good. You always shoot first. I'm so glad they didn't say that. Oh, my God. I would have been so pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, because that would have just reminded me too much of that Dork Lee video where they were just like, Han Solo always shoots first.
Yeah, but by him shooting first, just the visual, I think that's what they were going for. I'm just glad they didn't, put it out there, like, oh.
Do it, yeah.
But another thing I wanted to talk about too, the Enfree's Nest, the girl that takes the helmet off, and she's this she looks like she's like 16.
Yeah.
I don't mind women, taking control and everything in Star Wars. We've had Terminator, we've had Alien, movies like that where a woman is, the main character.
I mean, hell, Leia's considered to be like the original, strong female character.
Right, and I have absolutely zero problems with that. But it just seems like when Disney took this over, when Kathleen Kennedy took over Star Wars, it just seems like it's just so open. It's just so open that they're just trying to shove it down our throats. Do you agree with that, or is it just me?
No, I don't agree with that at all. That was the whole point. It's like those Marauders were broken and they were just disenfranchised, and that kind of stuff happens.
I mean, like in The Force Awakens, then there's Rogue One. You have another female lead. In Solo, you have the female droid. You have the female Enfree's Nest. I don't know. It just seems like they just.
Well, so you gotta keep one thing in mind, though. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, but keep one very important thing in mind. It's a big ass universe, and when you go back and rewatch the original trilogy, there's only 2 women at all throughout the entire franchise that have a speaking part other than that Twi'lek that gets thrown into the Rancor. So there's 3 women in all 4. So I get that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I have no problems at all. I love seeing the women up front taking charge and everything. But it just seems like every character they want to cast a woman. Yeah, that's just how I feel. They just want to make it obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people take issue with Holdo. I mean, I just didn't like Holdo just because it looked like that actress didn't give a shit about her performance at all. That's my only real complaint.
My complaint about Holdo was she just came out of nowhere, and the character Holdo, she just came out of nowhere. I'm sitting there, I'm like, who the hell is this person?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. I mean, to be fair though, if Holdo were a man, I'd still feel the same way about that character.
Oh yeah, no, I would. But when she flew the Star Destroyer, and I'm sorry, when she flew the ship into the Star Destroyer, I still thought that should have been Akbar's character.
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you when it comes to the whole white people complaining about Akbar thing. I get it, he was part of the original trilogy, but can we be real here? All he fucking did was roll around in a chair and declared whether or not things were traps. So when he got sucked out into the vacuum of space, I really didn't care. I've never had a real, other than it's a trap, I've never had a real connection to Akbar at all.
But he was good at it, rolling around in a chair and declaring things a trap.
Oh, best. Best. If I ever find out whether or not there's going to be a trap, I'm calling Akbar.
Akbar, is this a trap? Yes. Okay, thank you. I won't go.
It is a trap. But, beyond that, I mean, I do kind of agree. It would be a little bit better if. I think the real problem is people seem to have an issue with, and I kind of agree with this to an extent with Rey, is the fact that they don't really show a whole lot of flaws with the female characters.
Yeah, I know. I think Curtis was saying too how he thinks Ray can be a little bit too perfect.
Yeah, no, like Ray's only real issue is the fact that she can't let the past go. And it's just kind of
Yeah.
like, some people complain like, oh, how did she learn how to use a lightsaber too quickly? And I'm just like, well, I mean, she already knew how to use a weapon and she already knew how to fight, so it wouldn't be that much of a stretch for me that she could figure out how to learn how to use a weapon or at least create her own style. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Yeah.
that wasn't too much of a stretch, but then it's like, you go back and you rewatch The Force Awakens and she's like fixing the Millennium Falcon, like, she's doing this, she's doing that, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like, okay, seriously, like, at least be a whiny bitch like Luke was. You know what I mean? Because he was. Let's be real here. Luke was a whiny bitch until the third movie.
They never got those power converters.
Yeah, he still hasn't gotten those power converters. But yeah, then the plot thickens. As we move on, like a lot of this movie is just Han Solo doing what he wants to do, just to breaking the law, being a smuggler, so he can get money, so he can head back to Corellia and save his girlfriend Kira, played by, as we mentioned before, Emilia Clarke, better known to many as the Mother of All Dragons from Lord of the Rings. And you know what? I was okay with her because, you know what? She wasn't at the forefront of the plot. But you know what? Like, I was more okay with her being a little bit rougher around the edges and being the quote unquote badass because, you know, she grew up in a shitty in the ghetto, so she kind of had to be tough on her own, and you know, getting involved with the mob or whatever kind of organized crime group you want to call that organization. You know, like I kind of was okay with that. You know.
Yeah. No, I was too.
Yeah, I totally agree that Ray can be a little too perfect at times.
I'm just curious, you know, I didn't really ask you, but when you walked out of Solo, like, how did you feel? Did you feel satisfied, or did you, you know, feel a little let down?
I was honestly, dude, I was going in and expecting this movie to absolutely suck. Like, I was expecting it for me to finally go, you know what? I want to watch The Phantom Menace now to wash the taste of that out of my mouth. I'm not even kidding you. And I hate The Phantom Menace. Yeah. I even hate Revenge of the Sith. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody says it's the best of the. Everyone says, "Oh, but it's the best of the prequels." I'm like, yeah, but what did it have to go up against?
Speaking of the Phantom Menace, can we talk about that cameo?
Oh my god! Oh my god! I really hope this is hinting at something better because can we be real here? If there's any character from any movie franchise whatsoever that needs a redemption for the silver screen, it's Maul.
I was surprised to see him. You know, I thought it was the Emperor at first.
I thought it was the Emperor at first too because of the cloak and the hood, but then I saw the metal legs. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I love how they mainly just threw him. So I think they're going with the whole. How far into the past was Solo? By the way, have we found out like how far before the Battle of Yavin was it? Because
I heard it
he's
was.
still.
I think it was about 10 years prior to A New Hope.
So is it safe to assume that this is like no? This isn't around the time when what do you call it when remember how in Clone Wars when Maul controlled what's the planet Mandalore? That's not. It's got to be way after that.
Yeah, it's after that.
So it's definitely sometime in between the Clone Wars, but before Rebels, basically. Sometime between episodes 3. It's definitely set between like episodes 3 and when Rebels starts, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of feel, though, that Maul was just thrown in there so that way this wouldn't be the first Star Wars movie to not have a lightsaber.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think that's the only reason. I didn't think there was any need for him to ignite the lightsaber, and he just does. I'm like, okay, well, there's your lightsaber.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, there was that thing that the bad guy had that was almost like a lightsaber, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't understand the purpose of that thing lighting up, other than just to make it look cooler. Because at the end of the day, like, it's still a fucking knife. Like,
why not just grab a real knife?
right? Like, I mean, whatever. It was a really cool looking knife. I mean, I might get one if I can find one cheap enough. But at any rate, you know. So there was that, and what else was there? I really liked Woody Harrelson's character performance in this movie.
Yeah, I did too. Like, I felt bad, that he died at the end, but
I didn't
you know,
feel bad. He betrayed Han.
oh no, no, I get that. I just felt bad because when because Han looked up to him essentially, and then after he
No
shoots
way.
him, he runs up to him, and they kind of have like a bonding, like a brotherly moment, just holding hands, and then he ends up
It was kind
dying.
of it was like Fargo-ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I thought it was hilarious too during the Kessel run, it was actually nice to see Kessel, and just how the Falcon just gets completely demolished. The satellite dish goes out again,
Yeah. And you know what?
and
We finally see why it looks like a cheeseburger because he just got rid of the escape pod. Han would have replaced that thing.
I know there's an escape pod on the other side of the ship, like where the cockpit would be on the other side. Um,
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it might be there, but yeah, during the Kessel run, I don't know, I thought it was hilarious. So the whole ship just getting demolished, and Lando having so many capes in there. I'm like, that's typical Lando.
Yeah, I know, right? That totally sounds like something Lando would do. Was just have
Yeah,
way too many accessories. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Capes are like the most unnecessary article of clothing ever,
yeah.
and Lando has like 90 of them.
Actually,
Um,
89 because the one that he had custom made got burnt in the fire.
oh, right. Excuse me. Must
Excuse me.
maintain accuracy for our inventory, right? I also really, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. Actually, one of my gripes about this movie was I don't need to see Han Solo play poker to win the Millennium Falcon. They actually handled both of those scenes really well.
Yeah.
And and was I shocked to learn that Lando Calrissian cheated? No, not at all.
Nope.
Not
No.
at all. Not in the slightest.
Was I surprised Lando doing his own autobiography? Nope.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. Like
The Calrissian Adventures.
I'd read that book.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know what else we could talk about. I mean, like the whole movie is just kind of like they're trying to steal gas, basically. You know, this is almost like Road Warrior. This movie is almost like Road Warrior in a way because it's like we got to get gas. We need to find the fuel.
We need to not die.
That we need to not die. I liked all the characters pretty much. I'm looking forward. It feels like this is going to be one that they actually want to set up for a legitimate sequel. Like we're going to get Solo Part 2.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I hope we do get a sequel. I want to see more of Solo, Chewie, and Lando together again. That'd be nice.
Actually, you know what they just announced that I'm actually really looking forward to only because I never ever, I think I've gone on record on this podcast saying I never ever drank from the Boba Fett Kool-Aid. I am looking forward to the idea that they're going to be making a Boba Fett movie.
Yeah. Has the Obi-Wan been confirmed, or is that just still kind of in limbo?
That's in limbo, I think, still. Though Ewan McGregor has gone on record saying, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what happens throughout this movie is a lot of things of them trying to get the fuel. Oh, yeah, and by the way, that thing that was trying to eat the Falcon outside the gravity well, outside the black hole, was that one of those like space whales that can jump into hyperspace that they introduced in Rebels, or was that something completely different?
No, I think that was something completely different.
That scene was intense, actually.
Yeah.
I was actually, you know what? I was expecting more of. I was expecting to see more of the what do you call it? The Star Destroyer in the that was blocking them.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about too. They release a couple of TIE fighters, and then you have that one with looks like it's got another pod on the side. I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
and then they have the different stormtroopers on the train. They were like, I don't know the exact name, but they look like snow troopers. They got like some pimp coat on or something. But range. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I mean, I know it's a new Star Wars film. They got to put out new products so people can buy and everything. But on the flip side too, like in universe, it's like how many designs does the Empire have? I'm like Jesus.
I mean, it's really all about selling toys, Dave. That's all these franchises are about. They're just toy commercials.
Oh no, I know, but then you got that TIE fighter with the pod that was chasing the Falcon. You only had one of those. I'm like, what's the difference that the other TIE fighters couldn't do? You can have other regular TIE fighters just chase the Falcon, and then you have this one random bigger TIE fighter with an escape pod on this. Oh, it looks like an escape pod. I don't know what it was, but
I thought it was a missile payload. Because don't regular TIE fighters, at least in this point, don't regular TIE fighters not have missiles?
yeah, I think these ones, if I remember correctly, they have like another like gun emplacement on the side or something.
No, like the new TIE fighters, the jet black ones that we've been seeing in in both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Yeah, they have two guns. They have a pilot and they have a gunner.
Yeah, there's two different TIE fighters, the black version. You have the all black version, then you have the one that Finn and Poe stole. It's got the red stripe on it. That's the Special Forces. I think that's the one that has the gunner in the back.
Right. Right. So, yeah, that scene was intense between them almost getting eaten by that. I want to keep calling it a space whale, but I know that's wrong. And like, the one thing I actually really did like about it, though, was that they, what's the phrase I'm looking for? They actually did show off that Han really is a good pilot.
Yeah.
Like, I never really got that sense from the original trilogy too much. You know what I mean?
Well, he did fly through an asteroid field.
That is true. That is true. But I'm saying more so in this film than any other film. Like, they really showed off his pilot skills.
They're evading left. Go left. Go left.
They're listing lazily to the left.
Even watching the original trilogy, I said the same thing. I'm like, they're just slightly moving left.
Don't worry, I know some maneuvers. Pew, pew, pew. That's it. All you just did was list lazily to the left. Yeah, well, we ain't where we were no more. Is there anything you would have liked to have seen in this movie?
I think any more would have been overkill, honestly. And I like the
Yeah.
bit where they reference a crime lord on Tatooine, which obviously is most likely Jabba the Hutt.
I mean, if it's anybody but Jabba the Hutt, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah. People were saying too there might have been a Boba Fett cameo. I'm glad there wasn't, at least for this one.
No, but you know what? Actually, you know what? I'm glad. What really annoyed me was how, remember in the trailers they showed the scene where Chewie was on the train and he was about to smash his head against the rock?
You can't end a trailer with that when you know he survives.
Well, it's not only that, though, but it's just the mere fact that people were going like, oh man, Chewie's going to die in this movie. I'm like, how dumb are you? Because we've had him in how many other movies that take place after this? He's been in, 5 movies now that take place after the events of this one.
Yeah.
He's not going to die. Ugh. But yeah, I like that, though, that they added more depth. It seemed like they added a bit more depth to Chewie.
Yeah, the whole Han meeting Chewie too. That it went a little bit differently than what I thought it was going to be, because the whole life debt thing. But I would have liked to see a little bit more bonding. But I mean, what they did was good though. There was some scenes where Chewie was looking at Han and looking at the Wookiees, and Han pretty much gave him gave him the okay. It's like, hey, I understand what you got to do. Just showing to Chewie that, hey, Han's a good guy.
Yeah, no, like, here's the thing about Han Solo, what's always been true about Han Solo, is like, he's a scumbag, but he's not evil.
Right.
Like, he's really just looking after his own, at the end of the day, he really is just looking after his own skin, but I mean, like, remember how, like, he almost left the rebellion, and then all of a sudden he swoops in at the end to save Luke.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like, he always chooses what's right, even if it's a negative impact on him.
Yeah, I'm glad they went that route, though. It's showing that he's still a good person.
Yeah, and it's cool, because I think the idea is by the time we get to A New Hope, like, he's just been at this game for way too long, and he's just, like, in this movie, he seemed a little bit more, until maybe the very end, he seemed a little bit more wide-eyed, you know what I'm saying? Like, a little wide-eyed and, like, a little bit happier, I guess you could say, or optimistic, whereas by the time you meet him in A New Hope, he's a total cynic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a sequel with these characters. I liked all these characters, to be quite honest with you, every last one of them. In the next movie, I wouldn't mind it actually if we got Boba Fett in the next movie.
Yeah, hopefully it gets more than what 6 lines of dialogue.
And one of them was ah. Yeah, one of them was. That's one thing though that the Last Jedi got rid of that I would have been okay with if they kept, which was the Wilhelm scream tradition.
Yeah, was that in this one? I didn't. I don't think I heard it.
Oh, they're done doing Wilhelm screams. They're not going to do them anymore.
Aw.
Yeah, I know. Right? Yeah, it's whatever though. Like, it's just a soundbite, a glorious soundbite.
And they also changed the tradition too. Instead of "I got a bad feeling about this," Han says, "I got a good feeling about this."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. I guess I'm okay with it, because it's about time they did something different. Let's just say I liked it better than finding out that BB-8 said I've got a bad feeling about this because I can't understand what BB-8 says.
Unless there were subtitles, it doesn't count.
Exactly, it doesn't count. Or at the very least, if Poe said something like, "No, BB-8, you got to have a good feeling about this." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something that would have been a little more explicit to explain what BB-8 just said.
Yeah.
So, Dave, I think it's about time we should probably start considering wrapping this movie up. Because in all honesty, I think we've got more than enough to talk about. And, in all honesty, like, can we be real here? This movie was a bit more about the characters than it was about the actual plot, because the plot is pretty simplistic. I don't even think there was a real subplot in this movie. Do you? Was there?
I mean, if anything, would be Han getting back to Kira. That's it.
Yeah, but that was kind of the driving force of the main plot.
Yeah. Isn't that what a
Like, Han didn't even want... Huh?
Isn't that what a subplot is?
No, a subplot is when something else completely different is happening towards the main plot.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I mean, those are really the only two bits of the plot, I guess. I mean,
that's what I mean. Yeah, and then you find out at the end that, oh no, these Marauders aren't evil people. They want to. What was the name of that group again? That was led by Beckett. Not by Beckett. By Dryden.
Oh, jeez. It's not the girl that took the helmet off, is it?
Yeah, no, that's what I was trying to say. Like how they're really the disenfranchised. They're not the bad guys.
Yeah, that was Enfrey's Nest. I'm not sure what Dryden's group was called.
No, I'm talking about the group that Dryden Voss controlled, the mafia group.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I forget.
Well, either way, I mean, I like that because at the end of the day, it's just a better, just further showing that Han's not an evil person, that he's willing to do what's right, even if it's not going to benefit him as much,
Right. It's about staying in the game as long as you can.
Right, exactly. And then all of a sudden he flies off with the Millennium Falcon after exposing Lando for being a cheat.
And I like too how they describe the Falcon, because I thought about it afterwards. George Lucas said the Falcon was in Revenge of the Sith. It was, I think, after they rescued the Chancellor, you could kind of see it like a cameo appearance in the bottom right hand corner, flying into the shot. Now I know the Falcon. It's a YT 1300. Lando put the little escape pod in the front, and I'm thinking, well, okay, the YT 1300s, have they always looked like that, or did Lando modify it so it has the escape pod? We were wondering that. I'm glad they explained that Lando said, I put the escape pod there. So at least the YT 1300s always looked like that, and he just modified it. I'm glad they explained that, because I know a little nerdiness there, but I'm just glad they explained it.
Hey, no, I get it, man. I always appreciate small details and small little touches. So, honestly, it's the small touches that make the big picture better,
Right.
Yeah. What would you say, before we get going, actually, what would you say were some of the negatives of this movie? Because we haven't gone into that yet.
Can't really think of anything, like, right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I had to pick any negative, I would have liked a little bit more of L3, but she served her purpose well enough. And,
The,
like I said, I was really entertained by that character.
the droid revolt.
Again, oh my god, the droid revolt was hysterical.
You see the droid, the little square droid, just jumping on the control center.
Oh, yeah. Rebellion! I don't know, go for your brothers and sisters or some shit. Which, that's another thing, too, actually. So, inches away from getting somebody to actually say shit in a Star Wars movie for the first time ever.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset they didn't because, Disney also owns Marvel, and they say shit left and right in that movie. In fact, there's a great scene in it where Bruce Banner is talking to the Hulk. Yes, the Hulk. It's a little confusing, but basically there's a scene in it where Bruce Banner's like, hey, Hulk, we kind of need you to come out now. And the Hulk won't, and for whatever reason, the Hulk won't come out. He can't turn, and then finally Bruce Banner just goes, you know what? Screw it, you asshole. I'll do it myself. I'm like, they're saying asshole in a Disney-owned movie? Wow. So I mean, if it's one thing, like I said before, if it's one thing I've been enjoying about these newer Star Wars movies is that they're adding gray. I like the fact that they're adding gray to these movies,
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, as much as I love The Empire Strikes Back, it's pretty basic with the whole good versus evil thing. I mean, granted, the whole "I am your father" reveal does add a little bit of gray to it. You know what I mean? But it really just becomes a matter of what does Luke do, when it comes to time for defeating his father.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, I think that's honestly going to do it for us in this podcast. We got a few things. Like I said, it's not that this isn't a bad movie. It's just very tough to talk about, at least as far as the plot is concerned, because the plot is just so basic. They try to steal the train scene, the beginning of the train scene. They're trying to steal a bunch of hyperfuel for the mob. The plane goes south, and then basically all they just do is, hey, we got to go get more fuel again. It's not like all of a sudden oh man, we're on the run. It's, oh man, we just got to do this thing all over again.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I guess that would be, for me, as of right now, the only negative is just the plot. Just, like you said, kind of a basic plot, really. But, I mean...
Yeah, but I mean...
In a heist movie, what else can you do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it's one thing, too, I will also say that I kind of don't like about the anthology movies so far is the fact that both movies have been heist movies.
Yeah.
I mean, good heist movies, don't get me wrong. It's just, but, what else can you do, though? Because, the main stories are dealing with a war,
Right.
I don't know. It's tricky. But, I mean, you know what? So long as the movies don't suck, I'm okay with it. I wouldn't mind it, though, in the next anthology movie or going forward in anthology movies, they just really start to expand more on the universe in general. Maybe just see more of, what other Jedi were doing during this time of hiding.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But at any rate, we could do a whole other podcast about speculations about, what the next anthology movie should be about. I'm excited that they're going to be doing a Boba Fett movie. I really hope it actually turns out to be a Boba Fett and a whole bunch of other bounty hunters involved kind of a story. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't doubt seeing, the other bounty hunters, Bosk, Forloom, or whatever. Yeah, Dengar.
You know who should make an on-screen appearance?
Who?
You know who really should make an Hondo. Oh my god, I would love Hondo, especially if they got the same voice actor. Which, by the way, love that they're still using Ray Parker to play the voice of Darth Maul, and to play the actual actor. Huh?
Yeah, it was Ray Park who had the makeup on and everything. In Phantom Menace, it was Peter Serafinowicz. He did the voice of Darth Maul, but now in the Rebels and what was the other Clone Wars, it was Sam Witwer. I think that's his last name.
Yeah, it's Sam Witwer who's playing the voice of Darth Maul in this one.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm happy they're keeping the same voice actor, and it's Ray Park who's wearing the makeup, right?
Yeah. Yep. By the
way, yeah.
You know who?
I mean,
you know who Peter Serafinowicz was, right?
Wait, what'd you say?
The guy that did the voice of Darth Maul in Episode 1, Peter Serafinowicz, you know who he played, right?
Who?
Pete. Oi, prick! He's not in.
What?
Shaun of the Dead, he played Pete, the
What's
roommate.
Oh, oh, right. Okay. That's a good piece of trivia. Thanks for pointing that out. So at any rate, we should probably start wrapping this up because I think we've talked about this long enough. Closing thoughts, Dave. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this movie? And by the way, just so we're clear, this is whatever we give it. This doesn't necessarily mean like how perfect the movie is. We're just simply raking on enjoyability.
Yeah, it was funny. I was just going to ask you that. I would probably a solid 6.
You're gonna give it a 6, man? I think that's a little low. I'm giving this an 8. I thought this was a very enjoyable movie. I mean, granted, I set the bar so low, it was almost as if I was planning on going to a Nickelback concert. But, I mean...
That's really low.
Yeah, it is really low. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess, you know what, I was expecting Nickelback, and I got AC/DC, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it probably... like a solid 6 or 7. I went in, thinking this was going to be absolute garbage. Plus, like I said too, I thought there was no need for this. And then I saw the movie, obviously pleasantly surprised. Did I think it was like a wow factor? No, it was a nice night out, a nice popcorn movie. Yeah.
Right. I get that, but at the end of the day, my personal opinion is, and I've gotten into conversations with people about this, like, I understand why some people might not like these kind of movies, because I'd much rather see a movie that is quote-unquote more artistic, which, like more of like, your Godfathers or, your Departeds or whatever, which those movies are great too, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy those movies, but I personally feel at the end of the day, whether it is Star Wars, Marvel, The Godfather, or a documentary, at the end of the day, a movie's most important job is to keep me entertained. And if it fails to keep me entertained, it fails on all fronts. So that's what I'm trying. That's why I'm giving this movie a solid 8, because it entertained me very well.
And there you have it.
All right, everybody. Dave, you got anything you'd like to promote at all, or you just anything you want to plug, or you're all set?
No, just my Instagram, DJ Cos25. That's DJ COS25.
All righty. Sounds great. And as always, you can find me both on Instagram and Twitter at Kyle Daley Comedy. No shows coming up anytime soon, folks, on the stand-up front, but that's going to be changing very soon. I got to get to work on that. Dave, you've been a great guest, as always. Always love talking Star Wars with you. You and I have been talking this crap since we were like, what, 6?
Oh, geez, if that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure like 90% of our friendship is just based around Star Wars.
Probably. That's not a bad thing.
Probably. No, there could be worse things. Our friendship could be based around Nickelback.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Once again, thanks for being on the podcast. Everybody, thanks for listening. Dave, hope to have you on the podcast again soon.
Thank you. Same here. Good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime, Dave. All right, everybody. Bye.